Hey, what's up, everybody? True Boxing here. Thank you for coming back to get hit with the truth. So today, going to discuss the aftermath of the Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder 3. The fight that took place on Saturday, October 9th. And we had a barn burner. I mean, that was a great heavyweight fight. It really was. The changes from the second fight, Deontay Wilder made some. He gained a little weight, gained a little more weight, to stiffen up his punches. Tyson Fury gained a little bit more weight. But heading into this one, Fury was the odds-on favorite. And, Deontay Wilder, he was just that we know but we don't know is what the announcers were saying. And I was perfectly set for this fight because everybody knew that Tyson Fury was the favorite and why he was the favorite. Everybody accepted that. But Deontay Wilder with this one-punch power, what we've seen and know from him, you didn't know for sure if Tyson Fury was going to beat him or not. That's just pretty much what the underlying, thing was of this fight. The underlying kind of tone of this fight was. And, I felt the same way. I felt like Fury was going to win, but I wouldn't be surprised if Deontay pulled off the upset with his power. But after what we saw in the first two fights, I really didn't think that unless Fury got caught, I really didn't think there was a way for him to lose to Deontay Wilder. Excuse me. And it started off Wilder throwing jabs to the body, really controlled the action in the first round. Right at the end of the first round, Tyson Fury landed a really crisp 1-2 punch that you could tell rocked Deontay a little bit, woke him up, but I still gave Deontay the first round. But then in the second round, it was all Tyson Fury. Tyson pretty much looked like he picked up off that 1-2 punch combination that he landed. He looked like he had bounced back from and picked up where he left off in the second fight. He was really putting it on Deontay in the second round. And in the third round, pretty much the same thing until the end of the round when Deontay landed a wig. Or no, Tyson Fury put Deontay down hard in the third round. And it looked like we were going to have a short night. But Deontay got up, showed a lot of heart, showed a lot of character, got up, fought through it. But he looked like he was on shaky legs heading into that fourth round. And he was getting worked. But if there's one mistake that Tyson Fury makes, he made it in the fourth round. He lunges his head forward in sometimes, and he backs straight up sometimes. And he did the latter. He lunged straight forward and got caught with a hard right hand by Deontay and got dropped. And he was on shaky legs. Now, I do not agree with the whole long count bullshit. I don't agree with that. So, I'm not even going to go there about, it was a long count, and it was a long count on both of them. Deontay Wilder fans are making all the excuses for why he lost, and they're putting it on the long count, and it's just ridiculous. But whatever. I don't agree with it. That's as much as I'm going to say about it. But Fury got put down again in that round. And he looked like he could go. But then in the fifth round, Deontay was kind of putting it, was looking good. And then, I just felt like Fury did a little bit more. And then sixth round, he got his legs back and he looked solid and was putting it on Deontay. Seventh round again, and he just looked like he had, he put Deontay down again in the ninth. But all those rounds, it looked like Fury was going to knock out Deontay. I mean, in almost every round, he was outworking him, outlanding him, and then Deontay would land a punch that made you think, oh shit, he's still in this fight. And that was pretty much the tone of the fight for rounds 6, 7, 8, and 9, was Fury was winning every round in my book. I think he was clearly winning every round, but Deontay was landing one or two big shots that really sent a message, that backed Fury up, that shook him a little bit. And you were like, damn, Deontay can still just land that punch at any moment. So you kind of were watching that fight with kind of holding your breath. My son was watching it with me. He was pulling for Deontay. I was pulling for Tyson Fury. And then in the, I think it was the 10th round when he put Deontay down again. And after that knockdown, it was the 9th round. 9th or 10th round, Deontay went down again. And then it really looked like Deontay was just, after that, there was really no zip in his shots anymore. The 10th round, you didn't see much. And he just looked like he was wearing down and getting tired. But he was showing a lot of heart. And then in the 11th, he just didn't have nothing left. He was getting hit with some big shots. And then Tyson Fury landed that monster right hand that just, face planted Deontay Wilder, put him down for the count. And Tyson Fury retained the WBC heavyweight title with that win. So, monster win for Tyson Fury right there. Puts an end to this rivalry. I mean, there's really no need for a third fight or a fourth fight. No matter how close Deontay came to winning, I don't care. Because in my book, he's been beaten 3 times now by Tyson Fury. So, unless Deontay were to come out and win the other 3 belts before Tyson Fury had a chance to become undisputed, there's really no need for Tyson to fight him again. There just isn't. And, I don't care how good Deontay Wilder did. He was being beaten convincingly on points, and he scored a couple knockdowns that kept the fight close or made you wonder. And that's just what it's going to be every time he fights Tyson Fury. It's pretty much going to be Fury. Fury's probably going to win 9 out of 10 times, to be honest. But Deontay has that devastating right hand and that power that it's going to make you wonder if he could pull off the win at any moment. And he can with that power. But there's no need for a fourth fight, so that should be off the table. What does this win mean for Tyson Fury? I think what's funny is I think if Tyson would have won this fight like he won the second fight, I think a lot of people would have said, Deontay Wilder's just not that good, or maybe he should retire. The fact that Fury faced adversity and almost got knocked out and kept coming forward, kept trying to knock him out and finish him, I think that shows an extra thing about Tyson Fury, his greatness, to be honest. How great Tyson Fury is this dude is unafraid. He knew the kind of style he needed to fight to beat Deontay Wilder, and he got caught trying to employ that style. He really did. He got caught, he got hurt, and he almost lost. But the fact that he's willing to walk through that fire to try to win the fight and then to pull off the win in dramatic fashion, that to me just shows you how good Tyson Fury is, how great he is. And I think that's why when we were wondering if Alexander Usyk after his win over Anthony Joshua should be number 1 over Fury, I think we put that to rest now. I think Tyson Fury is comfortably number 1. Alexander Usyk's right there. Don't get me wrong. He's right there at number 2. And pound for pound, I'd put Usyk ahead of Fury, yeah. But in the heavyweight division, Tyson Fury has made his noise. He's made his statement. And he's shown everybody why he's the number 1 heavyweight in the world and deserves to be that. And that was a legacy win right there. It was a monster legacy win. For me now, that was his biggest win of his career. I thought it was going to be tough to top the second fight. And, remember, we still have the Vladimir Klitschko fight that he won. But the way he won it, the stigma of this rivalry, how big it was, and the way that fight went, that last fight went, the third fight was just monumental. And it says a lot about both guys and really sealed it. That final knockdown to knock out Deontay Wilder without the referee having to stop it or the corner having to stop it. That final knockdown in their 3 fights, there was 9 knockdowns. 5 for Fury, 4 for Wilder. 5-4 on knockdowns, and the final one ended it all. So that right there, in my opinion, is just huge right there. It's kind of a statement. And Tyson Fury, that was a monster win. monster win. Boxing needed that from its heavyweight division, and I'm excited for Tyson Fury. That was huge. Now for Deontay Wilder, what does this loss mean for him? Here's the thing: if Wilder would have went out and got his ass whipped the way he did in the second fight, I would say maybe it's time for Deontay Wilder to retire. But Deontay went out. He fought better. He looked more focused, and he got up after that third round knockdown, and he caught Fury hard, put him down, almost knocked him out. He really did. He had him hurt in that fourth round, put him down a couple times, and he continued to be a threat, and he continued to get up, and he continued to show that heart, and it reminded me of the Luis Ortiz first fight, the way all the heart that he showed when it looked like he was going to get knocked out, and he kept fighting, and he kept fighting, and he kept fighting. It's just Tyson Fury is just a little bit that much better than Deontay Wilder. That's just what it is. But in all honesty, I still believe Deontay probably knocks out almost every other guy in the division because of just his length, his awkwardness, his power is just amazing. And I really think that any other guy, Deontay should be the favorite, even Anthony Joshua, to be honest. And I think he'd have a solid shot at beating Alexander Usyk. But, so for me, I still think Deontay's got another 3, 4, 5 years with his style. Considering he started late in the boxing, I don't think he's burnt out. And I think Deontay could fight till he's 40, to be honest, and be effective in the heavyweight division. With his height, his reach, and his punching power, I definitely think he could fight till then. Yeah, Tyson Fury, but how many years does Tyson Fury have left? We don't know, but I mean, Deontay can just continue and come back and start a new chapter in the heavyweight division, and he's not contemplating retirement. From all understanding, I don't hear that. The only knock I have on Wilder this fight was the fact that he didn't shake Fury's hand. It's like, dude, you got knocked out. Shake his hand, then leave the ring. You don't want to talk? Fine, I get that. I don't believe these guys after a loss. I don't believe coaches after a loss in football or any sport should have to talk to the media. But show some respect and shake the dude's hand. That shows class. That shows, hey, you were the better man, and I respect that. But that shows me right there the kind of attitude that Wilder has, which is why I'm not a Wilder fan anymore. I used to be, but I'm not. But I am a fan of his style. I am a fan of how he fights in the ring. I am. But I just don't like his character. I don't like his attitude. And I don't like the excuses that he makes. I'm sure we're going to hear excuses after this one. But, maybe we won't. Hopefully we won't. But I think Deontay Wilder is great for boxing. I think he's an attraction. He's a really good fighter. And his power is just something else. And I hope to see him back, sooner rather than later. I heard that he's getting surgery done on his right hand that was apparently broken. And then he's going to hopefully come back by the middle of next year, which would be awesome. So I hope that's the case. Boxing needs a guy like Deontay Wilder, and we'll see. We'll see if he starts back at the bottom, fights whoever, or if he jumps back in, feet first, and goes after a top 10 guy. We'll discuss that when I discuss his what's next, some of the options. But for Tyson Fury, main option, most likely anyways, is he's probably going to fight Dillian White. And Frank Warren, who promotes Tyson Fury, co-promotes him, Frank Warren is pushing for the fight to take place in the United Kingdom between him and Dillian White. Dillian White is the mandatory to that belt. The only way I don't see him fighting Dillian White, to be honest, there's a couple things. Dillian White's got to get past, Otto Wallen next. If he beats Otto Wallen, if Dillian White beats Otto Wallen, then he's in line. But Otto Wallen could take the interim title, and we could be looking at a rematch between Fury and Wallen. But Dillian White is the favorite. That fight's taking place October 30th. But if Tyson Fury, if for some reason Anthony Joshua doesn't cash in on his mandatory rematch clause to fight Alexander Usyk, then we're likely going to see Fury and Usyk fight for the undisputed title. But I'm about 95% sure Anthony Joshua is going to cash in on that and fight Usyk in the rematch. So that's going to prevent Fury to fight for the undisputed title, and then Fury's going to have to make a mandatory. So that would be the winner of Dillian White and Otto Wallen. So hopefully it's Dillian White. That's likely what we're going to see out of Tyson Fury. But that's it. That's my take. And that's the aftermath on the epic third fight between Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder for the WBC heavyweight title. I hope you guys enjoyed this. True Boxing, you've been hit with the truth.